We have been discussing the meaning of rituals in the last 3 or 4 episodes. We have to understand more about the rituals, but now let us concentrate on some other aspect of spiritual life. A very important difference between science and spirituality is that science is very objective, but spirituality is very subjective. That's why we find it difficult to understand things in spirituality. For a scientist, there are a lot of equipments, there are a lot of laboratories, and a lot of calculations and all these things to work out. But in spirituality, the only instrument that you have got is your body and your mind. And all the experiments are done in yourself, and that's a problem. And we are not used to such a type of inquiry or such a type of investigation. Once in ancient India, that was how people studied things. Some people look into the mirror, some people look into themselves. So, but looking into themselves or looking into oneself needs a lot of training, a lot of training. It's not that easy. Because self-discipline is very, very important in that type of education. See, when the Chinese travelers came to India thousands of years back, they found this Takshashila University and all these great ancient universities. There was one great university, Kantalur University, that was in Trivandrum. In those universities, much importance was given to meditation. People used to sit in meditation with all the peoples and all the teachers. They used to sit in meditation in the morning for 3 or 4 hours every day. Then only they started the classes. So, through deep meditation, one attains a particular stage from which he will be able to understand the things that is taught by the great masters. So that is very important. That's why it is difficult in the modern world, because in the modern world we don't want to live a disciplined life. We believe more in freedom than in responsibility. So that's why I said in the very early part of the program that you have to give importance to spiritual life. That will be that should be your first priority. Of course, you can learn it from making it as a second priority or a third priority. But when you come to practice, the spiritual life and living should be a first priority. So that you should be able to sacrifice anything for that. And that is very, very, very difficult. When I met my Guru for the first time, my Guru is Swamy Satyanand, and he was a saint living in a small village near Trivandrum. I asked him a lot of questions in a very polite manner, very polite. And everyone around him, they were impressed by my politeness, because I was learning English literature in the university called in Trivandrum. And youngsters, they are very tough people. But they found me a very humble person, because I was asking such questions. Even I refused to sit before him and all that. But suddenly, I sat before him in a chair and asked these questions to him. Swamy, all these things that you say are very different things, I know, but aren't these things absolute false? Aren't you speaking falsehood? Aren't you trying to impress people by saying this and that, which a logical mind can never understand or substantiate? Isn't it falsehood? That was a trick I used to apply to almost all the people who speak of spirituality to me at that time. Then he said, even without a wink in his eyes, that whatever he has taught is true and absolute truth. Suddenly I found that this man speaks truth. In his eyes it was there. Then I asked him a question. Is there a God? Then he said, yes. The second question, have you seen God? For that question also he said, yes. And then I went to the third question, can you show God to me? No, that's a very difficult question. And then he said, okay, I answered two questions. Before answering the third question, can I ask a question to you? Then I said, okay. Then he said, well, a rich man was walking through the streets, and he had a very beautiful elephant, and elephant is supposed to be a sign of lordship. Only rich persons can afford to have an elephant. So that elephant is walking behind, and this rich man is walking with pride in front of the elephant. Then there was a beggar sitting on the street, and he was watching that elephant, and he was excited to see the elephant. And when this owner came near him, this beggar asked me a question, sir, what is the price of this elephant? What should I pay to buy this elephant? The person who asked is a beggar. And then Swamy stopped this story and asked me this question. Well, if you are the landlord or if you are the owner of the elephant, what would be your reply? Then I said, I will tell the beggar to get lost. But he can never even dream to buy this elephant. It is so precious. Then Swamy smiled and said, but I don't ask you to get lost. Then I said, I didn't understand. Then he said, you see, you're asking this question, can you show God to me? What capacity you have to see God? Just think of that. With your thoughts, with your brain, with your body, with your mind, with your five senses. Do you think you will be able to see God, who is the most supreme power in this world? How dare you ask this question? Can an ant see an elephant completely, in full? If an ant asks the question to you, can you show me the elephant? What can you do? Can you show that elephant to him? Can he see? That's the problem. So in spirituality, the basic problem is this. Your body, mind, intellect, equipment is not enough. You have to develop your insight. You have to develop in spirituality. In any art, you have to develop basically, then only you will be able to understand what that art is. For example, if you want to if you want to know the difference between one raga and another raga in classical music, you should have a knowledge in it, primary knowledge in it. Then only you will be able to differentiate between these ragas. Otherwise, it's all the same for you. So, in spirituality, as we advance, it is very, very important that you bring a total change in your life. That's very important. That's why it is very subjective. So, unless you discipline your mind, and with theories and stories and all that, our Dravida Yoga gurus, I belong to Dravida Yoga school, they mold the students with stories and similes. So, from today onwards, I'll be trying to give you some stories, some anecdotes by which I think I'll be able to mold you for receiving the spiritual enlightenment.